Hey everybody, Hellcracks here, and welcome to another Mercenary Thoughts from the Inner Sphere, episode 214, I think it is. And today we're going to be talking about the Nightsky, the 50-ton mech. That's a 696, highly mobile, and it's a melee mech. So it's one of those mechs that can go out there and slice and dice things if it need be, with a pretty decent chop. So, yeah, it gets the job done. You know, it's not like it's a heavy, it's 10 points. So if you hit somebody in the head with it, at least they know they're going to get some possible crit to the internal structure. Or kill a pilot maybe, that type of deal. Now, the Nightsky 696 has XL engines, does not have endo steel or ferrofibrous armor. What you would think, if you're going to put XL engines on, at least you put ferrofibers on to up the armor some. In that case, you might be able to get a little closer to maxing out. Speaking of armor, it's got 152, so it's not bad. You got the same amount of armor you're going to find like on a Shadowhawk or a Wolverine or something of that nature, but at 5 tons less. So if you had ferrofibers on it, you get a little bit more bang for your buck. Now, it does have 11 double heat sinks, which I suppose you're looking at 14, 18. Yeah, it could use them. If you jump, fire everything, and jump, you would heat up. But that's something to think about. Now, for weapons on this thing, obviously this is a melee mech. It has a hatchet in the right arm. That's 4 tons wrapped up there. For something you got to get into close combat with. So if you're in a city fight, hey, it works out pretty decently. But out in open terrain, not so much all the time. The left arm carries around a large pulse laser. So you don't have anything that's going to shoot a long distance past 10. So it was something I've considered rethinking. But it also has in the right and left torso a medium pulse laser, a small pulse laser in the head, and then you have jump jets in the center torso and left leg, right leg. So you got 2 in each of those sections. So overall, it's I would consider it a mobile mech. A 696 is pretty mobile. It's comparable to like running around as a Phoenix Hawk. For mobility, that aspect of it. So it can get in there and get close enough with that hatchet eventually to, dish out some punishment on somebody. So there's that. My only concern always with this mech, and I faced off against it, I played it at conventions and stuff before, and for some reason I just never picked this mech up. Even though I've looked at it going, the hatchet wouldn't be bad. I got a lot of melee mechs in my stable just because they look cool in some ways. But I just never picked one up because I'm not really sure. It seems to work out fairly decent, but the only thing that really bugs me is always that it doesn't have any long-range weapons with all the ones I've ever played. And that may be one of the reasons why I just kind of shied away from it. It's one of those ones that it's like, personally, I think it would work really good. Drop that large pulse laser and replace it with a ERPPC. That way you're doing some damage out at range. You can use it as a sniper if you need to. And, shoot down streets or something. Or if you're in the open terrain, you can shoot down at a good distance and do some damage to somebody, and then when you do get close, you have something you can shoot at close range with, and still do a hatchet attack if need be. All right. So I think, or even replace it with an ER large laser, one of the two. Get rid of the large pulse laser and replace it with something that shoots a little bit farther. That'd be my biggest concern biggest change I would do with this mech. So otherwise, it fights very similar to I use it similar to like a Phoenix Hawk. when it comes to its mobility. And you know, a lot of the advanced Phoenix Hawks with, you know, a little bit more high-tech weapons on it, it's very similar to what it can do. So I always looked at it that way. Now, there are a few variants in the game. There's the 4T. This one is, well, what it does is it removes the large pulse laser and replaces it with an ER large and an anti-missile system. All right, so this kind of addresses what I was talking about. And you're able to, you know, just by taking 2 tons, you're throwing it at something else, and you have another small laser. So you have that half ton extra that you had 2 tons pulled away from that large pulse laser. You put 5 towards the ER large, and then you got 2 tons you allocated towards the anti-missile system and the small laser. So up close, you got the small laser and the small pulse laser. So if you get really close, you do have something that can do a little bit more damage, but you got to get in within 3. You know, typically if you're hatching somebody, then it comes in handy. But until that point, it's one way or the other. I'm not really sure I'm a big fan of throwing the anti-missile system on board. Personally, I probably would have just tossed and replaced that with two medium lasers, or eventually ER medium lasers. You know, go that route myself. Then there's the 5S. This one is a little more heat efficient. It removes the jump jets and replaces them with 3 double heat sinks. Okay, I'm not a big fan of that because I like the mobility that you have with this mech from when I've used it. And I like mechs that have jump jets. So to me, that's like a step down. Just to gain more heat capability. You know, that's not something I can wrap my head around and say, yes, that's, you know, great, like new sliced bread. No, not me. Then there's the 5T. This replaces the large pulse laser with an ERPPC. And so basically, it's the same mech, but with an ERPPC. So that's basically addressing what I would say I would prefer to have on it. It's like it really doesn't need a large pulse laser. You're better off with an ERPPC or an ER large laser on board this thing. At least then you're able to do damage out to range instead of having to be, you know, close with this thing before you can even start doing damage. So there, that is the problem I find with that. So to me, replacing it, direct replacement for a ERPPC, that's a plus in my book. Okay, then we have the 6S. This one replaces the 300XL with a light fusion engine. Okay, I can give that 2 thumbs up because, hey, I'm all for the light fusion engine over the XL engine because, hey, if you lose a torso, the mech isn't dead. That's the problem with the current design is that you lose a torso, you're dead pretty quickly. So you're just put you down. And then it removes all of its ranged weaponry and replaces it with 7 ER medium lasers. So it can combine it with the hatch and attack and then fire all of its weapons. So, yeah, you're looking at something that it says it's good against battle armor. I can see that in an urban environment. So basically you run in, you hammer the point of infantry with the ER medium lasers, possibly kill a few of them, and then you take the hatch attack to another one and chop him up. So you can tear up a point pretty quickly with a mech like that. So now, finally, the 6T is finally getting around to adding something that you really need to have on a physical attack mech. It puts on triple strength armor. About time. That should have been on there in the initial design right off the bat. It also uses 1 ER medium laser and a pair of ER small lasers. To make room, it loses the pulse laser. So you get rid of 1 pulse laser. Okay. So that is a direct replacement. And you're actually probably increasing your firepower a little bit in the process. So, and that also gives you better management of getting that sweet spot for your 9 heat. You know, if you want to just keep it at 9, having some small lasers on board is the best bet to make sure that happens, because you can't always guarantee you're going to be within that sweet spot without having some way to manage that. So personally, one of the things you need to do, now what I would do with this mech is replace the large pulse laser with a PPC, ERPPC, possible, and then add triple strength Mymer, and then I would replace the medium pulse lasers with a like 3 medium lasers, and then one of those will become 2 small lasers. So then you're able to manage your heat better to maximize the damage. Because if you're going to throw a hatchet on something, you might as well throw triple strength on it and maximize that hatchet attack the best you can. So anybody that's been on the receiving end of a mech that's been heated up with triple strength and then does a physical attack on you, oh yeah, they remember that quite well, and that's what this mech can do. All right, so that is the Night Sky in a nutshell. It's a mech that can be a little bit better, a little slight tweaking, and it's a lot better, even though you have to deal with having the XL engines on board. All right, so that's it. Hope you guys like this one. Like and subscribe, share with your friends, and we'll see you in the next one. Hellcrex out.